agree. Yeah, it's on my agree. Because I know what's coming.
All right, we're live. What's going on, everyone? Let us know if you can hear us. All right. I think we got the audio and video issues a little bit sorted out now.
All tuned in now.
Yeah, it's only been like 20 videos in, so
yeah.
But I think we're doing pretty good here. We'll wait for a few folks to join. Got a few people on. All right. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, just let us know. If you can hear us, we'll do intros here. All right, so those of you that don't know Dave, I'm sure Dave's been on quite a bit. He's one of the people that helps us out with the Derby here, Dave Starkey. Definitely, when I think Lake St. Clair, he does some schooling out on Lake St. Clair.
That's true.
It definitely happens. So we got Jared Rowe here also. Jared, tell us a little bit about yourself. You guys you've been fishing Lake St. Clair a long time, right?
Pretty much my whole life since I was a little kid. Yeah, I mean, grew up fishing Detroit River a lot, but Lake St. Clair a lot since I was younger, and then used to be in the salmon game real big, and then getting older, responsibilities, family, marriage, you kind of confine yourself to your home waters, and that's my home waters, Lake St. Clair.
Nice. Jeff Vantori on the end here.
Yep.
Also another Lake St. Clair aficionado.
Yep.
Definitely, I learned a bunch from you guys. Where are you from, Jeff?
From Chesterfield, Michigan. Recently just moved to New Haven. So we fish Lake St. Clair a ton. Been fishing it for years and years and years, and I love that lake. It's like that's my favorite body of water to fish.
I think that's the cool thing for all of us. It's local for the four of us for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you can get out and get fishing after work for a few hours, or you can, it's typically we can get on the lake without having to wait at launches.
No,
it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah, there's enough launches to get you in the water pretty fast.
Yeah. So you guys put on the Madness Walleye Tournament, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Madness Walleye Tournament started in 2014. This is our 10th year fishing due to COVID. That 1 year we didn't have the tournament, unfortunately, but so this will be our 10th year running the tournament. I would like to consider it Michigan's largest one-day walleye tournament. We usually sell out 100 boats. I mean, it's a great tournament. Guys come from all over the state of Michigan, and I don't think there's anybody that leaves that tournament without saying that their arms were tired from catching fish. They just go through fish all the time.
No matter what they catch, they come in and talk about muskies. Like we caught biggest muskie in my life this weekend, and we were walleye fishing. You know, it's amazing the stories you hear at the weigh-in. You know. Yeah.
Lake St. Clair is definitely all species lake.
Yeah. And this year we extended the boat numbers to 120.
Yep.
So we're trying to get 20 more boats involved to make it the known one-day tournament.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're really close right now. We had a couple entries come in today. I believe we're just under 110 boats. So we have 7 days left till we shut off the entries for the tournament. It's just on our end. We have to have enough time to get things ready, like the T-shirts and all the stuff for the captains and the anglers as well. So we don't want to be last minute rush here and there and stuff like that. We want to take our time to make sure we have all the right things geared up for you guys, so you guys have a great experience. If you haven't came and fished this tournament, you have a great experience out here with all of us.
Yeah.
So what's the date for the tournament for those that don't know?
It's on May 17th. This year it's a Saturday. Our blow day is going to be May 18th. We have a mandatory captains meeting on Friday the 16th at 6 o'clock. We launch out of Selfridge DNR access site. It's located on the very end of M59. Right across the access site is Anglers Point. That's where we're going to have our captains meeting there. So there's a lot of good stuff going on at the captains meeting, lots of giveaways. They have a tiki bar, things like that. Possibly a food truck going to be there as well. So everybody has a great time. We all get together, tell stories of what was and what will be. And, you hear all those big fish stories at the captains meetings and all of the rumors, they spread real fast. So that's the best part,
Yeah. And bring the family out, even for the weigh-in. Bring the kids out. There's always a big kids raffle basket there that the kids go crazy over. So we like seeing the families there, the kids, especially if your kids are involved in the fishing, even if they're fishing the tournament with you. We love seeing that. I personally took my son last year for the first time It was his first tournament, and he had a blast. Loved it. And then he'll be back on my boat this year, fishing again.
Yeah, it's impressive for the kids to see the shotgun start.
Yep.
Well, you guys don't shotgun. You go staged leave, right? But still seeing all those boats running across the lake. But yeah, definitely a cool event. You guys said you had 20 spots left?
Just under 20. I believe, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head right now. Like I said, we had a couple entries come in this afternoon. So I would say we probably have around just under, maybe just over 10, I would say.
How do they find you? How do they reach you?
Oh, we have a Facebook page. It's LSC May Madness on Facebook. You can put that in the search bar. It'll come up. And all the information's there. It's pinned to the top of the page, the link for the entry. There's multiple posts on there throughout the week as well. So if you have any questions, you can get us on Facebook, or you can find myself or Jared or Gabe or Dave, and they can point in the right direction as well. And just send us a private message. And if you have any questions or anything like that, we'll be happy to take care of you.
And the Big Fish side pot is always at the captain's meeting. You enter there. It's cash for the Big Fish side pot, and it's 100% payout back to the tournament guys. And we pay out top 3 for Big Fish.
Well, you guys doing a hot bait this year too? Like a bait that?
Well, we got something coming.
It's in the works right now.
Oh, good.
Right? It's in the final stages of giving it the green check. We're going to go with that one.
Cool.
Right? Every year that seems to be a real popular thing.
Oh yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's usually a one-off. Right.
I always buy some.
Right. Yeah.
They work.
Yeah.
They don't work during that tournament. They'll work later on during the year. Trust me.
Yeah. They always have their days.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that kind of leads us into what we're here today for, and that's talking about fishing Lake St. Clair, kind of going through the cycle of the lake and so on, and hearing some tips and tricks from you guys and stuff, just for people that are interested in fishing the lake. They haven't, maybe they fish the river or fish Lake Erie. I know it fishes different than Lake Erie, so yeah, let's dive into it. You guys are great source for that information. We'll see how many tricks and tips we get out of these guys, especially since the tournament's coming up, right? Yeah.
But you guys can leave some questions. You guys can leave some questions too. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer them.
Oh, definitely.
Answer the best we can.
Yeah. So usually people coming to the lake, the biggest thing is where can we launch, right?
Right.
So there's a handful of launches that I'm aware of. Some of them might be in better conditions than others.
Yeah, the Crocker ramp this year is a little shallow. Obviously, with the water being down, then there was one gentleman that got his truck stuck at the ramp during the ice season. And then a lot of people don't understand that it took another tow truck to drag that truck a good, few inches to get it out of the ice, so that piled up a lot of muck in there. So that leaves everything very shallow in that spot. So hopefully they get that taken care of, and hopefully the water rises up a little bit. But there's always South River Road. That's always a nice ramp on the Clinton River. Big parking lot, more than enough room to launch a lot of boats, and even Selfridge, where the tournament's at. A lot of people are afraid of it because it's so small, but once you go there and see the size of the parking lot, you can launch well over 100 boats there without any issues.
And you also have a Metropolitan Park over here as well, too. So if you have one of those Metro passes, you can get in there and launch your boat, too. And if you don't have the pass, you get the daily pass, too. And it's a nice launch.
Yeah.
Puts you right in the middle of everything, especially this time of year right now. I mean, we know the rivers are on fire, and it's easy fishing, but, don't overlook Lake St. Clair right now this time. I mean, a lot of guys, they come to Lake St. Clair and they see the shipping channel, and that's exactly where they're going to want to go to. But right now, this time of year, those fish are in shallow, especially over there by South River Road and Metropolitan Beach. You have the Clinton River right there, and you have the spillway just a little bit south of that. So, there's a lot of good fish in shallow right now. You're going to have some bass on those beds, but don't be fooled. There is a lot of walleye mixed in there right now, and now's the time to get some of those big fish that are in there.
And don't be afraid to go too shallow this time of year, like he was saying. They're in there with the bass, and the bass, we all know, going shallow on their beds.
Right.
Like, we've caught them as shallow as 4 feet in front of Metro.
Right.
And where Geno's is at.
400 Club and all that.
Yeah, 400 Club, that whole shoreline. Don't be afraid to be the inside boat on the entire group in there. Right. Sometimes it pays off, and it will essentially push those groups of fish either in or out.
Yeah.
And you want to be on the inside or outside of that group.
Yeah, and then you got Anchor Bay, right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of good water in Anchor Bay out in front of Selfridge.
A ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook Selfridge and Salt River, right? Because you got weed growth, a lot of weed growth at Salt River, and you'll be in there and you control for walleyes at Salt River. Do not be afraid of that. And the one nice thing about Salt River, you don't get many crowds because everybody's over by Metro 400 Club,
Mile roads.
right?
Yeah.
The Mile Roads, everybody's down there, but
Yeah.
don't be afraid to go up into Salt River and troll for walleyes.
So like this time of year, I would say the most important thing, honestly, is watercolor.
Yeah.
Even for Madness, if you can find that, if you're coming to fish Madness and you can find that right watercolor, that off-color green,
Yeah.
that's going to hold your fish.
Yeah.
Lake St. Clair is not a lot of structure out there, so we treat watercolor as our structure. Yeah, we have a lot of weeds and stuff in the middle of the summertime, but we use that watercolor as our structure. And if you can follow that green water or find that green water right now, it's going to hold some fish. It's going to hold a lot of fish.
Especially this time of year because there's not much weed growth and we don't have a whole lot of rocks and boulders to figure out, okay, which side are they sitting on? You got to figure out the transition between the two different watercolors and which one's the best to fish on.
Right.
Yeah. And that's those fish will stage and they will stay in that area of that green water.
And then there's a ton of good water on the Canadian side too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Majority of Lake St. Clair
Right.
is
Yeah.
Canada, right?
There's no secret this time of year. Once a lot of the boats start pushing into Metro, the guys that can make the run will go to Canada, and it's all featureless over there. We all know it, mud flats, everywhere over there. You just
Discharges.
right, exactly. There's
Creeks, rivers.
creeks, rivers that come out, and that's going to attract bait, and that's going to attract your big fish that come out of the river that want to feed post spawn.
Yeah.
So try to concentrate on that if you can.
So let's rattle off some of the spots just because I know people are going to want to, key in or do some homework on some of the spots, right? So we talked about obviously the mile roads. When we talk mile roads, it's 9, 10, 11 mile.
9 Mile Tower, you can't
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grosse Point, right? You got the Grosse Point Yacht Club over there in south all the way to the Detroit River.
Memorial Park.
The Delphine.
Yeah. Delphine.
That's a
Right.
good one. Yeah.
That's a real good spot.
Yep.
There's a current that runs through there, and that'll hold fish a certain way and bait in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we talked about Metro. We got Lance Cruz Bay.
Yeah.
I never really fish very much in there, but I know some guys.
It gets deep in there, right by the
It does.
seawall and close to. I
Yeah.
got some pretty nice ones in there,
Yeah.
pulling crawlers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in May when the Metro bike is good. It's usually good there
Right.
as well.
Yeah. The hole in there, and there's less pressure in there
Yeah,
too.
right by that blue seawall. That's
Yep.
usually where I started. And you troll that one
Yeah,
boat.
there's some good cabbage weeds just sitting there.
Mhm.
Yep. And then we round the corner around the Clinton River. You got basically Selfridge back in there, right? There's I'm drawing a blank now.
Salt
What's
River?
it?
You got Selfridge, and then
Conger Bay.
Conger Bay.
right,
Yeah.
Conger Bay they call it. Then you go up, and there's Cotton Road where everybody goes ice fishing. So everybody's familiar with that, and then go up towards where the Salt River comes out.
Yeah, Brandenburg too.
And then Brandenburg around the corner.
Yeah, Brandenburg's got some springs over there.
They
I don't
do.
know if it's usually it's some of the worst ice on
It
Lake
is.
St. Clair.
Yes, it's you got to get it. You got to get a pretty cold winter for that to freeze up.
Sound
Where
it.
you
Yeah.
feel safe.
Yeah. And then on the Canadian side, right, we got
you
Mitchell's
start?
Bay.
Right.
Yeah.
You got Mitchell's Bay. You got St. Luke's.
Back there.
Yeah, you got down at the southern end of Lake St. Clair. You got Ruskin River. You got
Pikes
Bell
Creek.
River, Pikes Creek, Bell Hump out there.
240 hole. The
Everybody knows. Yeah,
wall.
A lot of good
Thing.
there's a lot of spots.
Yeah.
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 I think a lot of guys would be fishing over there for May Madness, wouldn't you say? Most
Yeah.
people.
As long as that watercolor's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Get a big rain the day before, man. The farmers might turn their fields on and
Right.
pull it right out.
We don't want that.
No.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So those of you that don't know, there are some huge pumps that basically they pull flood water off of the farms on the other side of the
Yep.
lake, and when those turn on, it'll shut the fishing down
Yes.
completely, right?
In a hurry, like overnight.
It's not even mud. It's like almost unfishable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Debris, there's everything.
Yeah.
yeah. So I think we covered the spots. Really, it's about staying shallow. I've never this time of year. Typically, I don't fish the middle of the lake.
Right.
Some guys do. They'll find some offshore pockets,
Yeah.
of fish.
You can
that
look
are-
for some current areas out in the middle of the lake, like not just the shipping channel has current in that Lake St. Clair. So if you can find some areas and you know how to read the water, find some current areas this time of year, and there will be fish there because there will be bait in that area.
Yeah. So really the fish migrate, right? These are our fish on Lake St. Clair tend to migrate somewhat, right?
Yeah.
Some of the fish are resident fish and some are fish that are in the system either to spawn or they're passing through to feed or right. So because it definitely some of the during May Madness, there's some good fish caught that I don't think are there all year round. They're
migrating fish coming through.
Yeah.
Or coming back.
Yeah.
Or coming back. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So
what I'm tending to find too is a lot of those fish. That time of year, it's super early too, so we don't have very heavy weed growth. And I think some of those fish are sticking around in the later summer and they're burying down and they're living in the big cabbage patches out there.
Yeah.
And when they're down in those cabbage patches like that, they really don't have to go anywhere because the food's going to come to them.
Yeah.
They have those little tiny perch out there. They got the bug hatch going. They have crayfish, gobies.
Yeah.
They have everything they could possibly want right there. And when it gets super hot out, that cabbage out there, if they're buried in it, it's giving off oxygen and they don't have to really go anywhere. They don't have to go anywhere far. They just stay right around there and they feed and they eat and then they hunker down in that cabbage.
Yeah. And then it's no stranger to us. The perch population's been pretty good the past couple of years on Lake St. Clair. Everybody's taking part in that fall bite out there. So you got to think of that for the following year. Like the perch population's up. So that's more food for the walleyes to stay in Lake St. Clair. The ones that aren't resident fish there, like Jeff was explaining, they'll hunker down in them big cabbage beds because the perch population is big and there's more bait for them. They don't have to go roam around so far to find bait.
So I guess let's break down the seasons here. If we could give people some tips on just how to break down Lake St. Clair. So spring, let's break spring into early spring, pre-spawn and post-spawn.
Okay.
So pre-spawn, what would be a spot that you guys would try and target your efforts around?
American or Canadian?
Let's go both. I mean, just
American, metropolitan beach area, shallow mile roads, all of that. That's where I would be at.
Pretty much from Metro Point to 9 Mile.
Yep.
That whole shoreline.
All up and down.
Yep.
Dave?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So post spawn, spring. What do you guys think? If you had to pick a couple spots, just so we give, because I know we went around the entire lake and we basically described.
I'd pick the bell hump.
Bell hump.
Right. There's always going to be fish there. There's always going to be bait. For some reason, that bait will stay there. You can realistically catch walleyes year round in this middle of summer and fall at the bell hump. So that's a very good spot at post spawn to start out in that area.
Jeff, Dave,
what do you
guys think?
Thames River.
That's another good spot too.
There's a couple other good spots over there too, but I don't want to blow no covers for Madness Tournament.
Wherever that water's good at.
Yeah.
You have to find the watercolor.
Right.
Find the watercolor, you'll find the fish.
And it changes from day to day.
Yeah.
So if you pre-fish a couple days, you might be on some fish, and you get there that tournament day and that water's clean. I mean, you're gonna maybe try it, but
I've had it before where it was opposite. Water looked great. I go on Madness and I go all the way over there and I sit down and I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Right. This watercolor. I mean, it was a night and day difference in watercolor overnight.
On the Canadian side, though, it tends to stick around a little bit longer than it does on the American side. American side, that water, the current over there, it tends to the exchange rate on the water is faster than it is on the Canadian side. So the Canadian side, the watercolor, if you find it'll tend to pool up in certain areas and swirl around a little bit and stay a little bit longer. So, I can't bang on the table hard enough, man, to find that watercolor.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. So then we push out into summer. Weed growth is happening.
Yeah.
You know, we're starting to get into warmer water temperatures, like let's say, 65 plus, 60 plus, right? A lot of guys focus their effort around the shipping channel. Right?
Yeah.
That's weather buoy.
The weather buoy, St. Clair Light, even just south of the St. Clair Light, you can follow that channel down and you can find some pretty good fish.
Yeah. Okay. And then a lot of people don't know, but fall, it all happens over again, right? The fish kind of cycle back through the same spots that they went through in the spring. So, fall into winter, if you can get out there. I know some years we fished every month of the year.
Yeah. in the boat,
Yeah,
right? In
Yeah.
the boat,
fantastic.
right?
So, but yeah, Lake St. Clair's got a lot to offer with regards to spots and so on. What do you guys think? Let's give people a little bit of a breakdown of some baits. Some I know I have some ideas for myself. I tend to run a lot more natural colored crankbaits. I don't run a lot of like Lake Erie. I'll run a lot of pinks. I'll run a lot of like more abstract colors than,
Right.
but
Piggybacking off your comment about the fall, pink is actually a very good color in the fall on Lake St. Clair. A lot of people won't think it, even in clean water. Him and I have had some pretty good days on a pink based bait. Right. You wouldn't think it, cleaner water, but if it works, you're going to keep using it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Let me take some notes here.
Right. But I mean, the normal bandits, flicker minnows. I know he likes running size 11 flicker minnows.
Yep.
I personally do better on number 9 flicker minnows than 11s, but it's just that's personal preference and what you have confidence in. Because everybody has their own confidence baits that they will run no matter what time of year it is. Because you have confidence in that bait and you've caught so many fish on it that you're going to use it no matter what time of year it is.
I'll tell you this: perch is king on that lake.
Yep.
Anything with stripes or perch colors.
Right. Anything with a pattern.
Orange belly.
Orange belly.
Yeah, orange bellies.
That's the
Definitely.
one.
Right. Anything with a perch pattern coming off the back and an orange belly.
Yeah.
Right. If it's got pink in the middle, run it.
Yeah.
Stripes and perch.
Right.
I know that blue back, orange belly,
Yeah.
Bandit?
the chrome bandit, that's always caught some fish. But
Seka perch. Seka
Yeah.
perch.
Take a perch is a real good one.
JT Custom Tackle, Seka perch, and any style bait that they make that painted.
Yeah.
Even the blades. If you can find the blades, Seka perch.
Yep.
Or meech perch.
Yep.
I can go on and on, but those two right there, for some reason, they just work.
Yeah. The patterns work. Yeah. Like glass perch, another good one.
Yep.
Depending on the weather, cloudy, sunny, mix of sun and clouds. Sometimes glass perch will outfish Seka perch on a chrome bandit just because of the way it looks in the water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Golden Boy. I mean, I've
Always.
done really good on
Always a
Golden
good
Boy.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always.
That's done some damage out
Yeah.
there.
That's another confidence bait right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can go on and on and on.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's a
baits.
lot.
There's so many baits out there.
But-
Yeah. I think though, for us, right, like you look at my boxes and boxes of baits, I have a lot to choose from. Folks that are just getting into it, I think this is all good information because it narrows it down to if they went out and bought a dozen, right?
Right.
Of different colors.
Yeah.
I know when I got into fishing and trolling and so on, I bought whatever looked good to me.
Right.
And I wish I would have talked to
Yeah.
someone that
Yeah.
could give me the advice. Hey, I think, go out and buy these 6 baits and go fishing
Right.
and you'd be better off. Right.
Yeah.
So I think some of the ones we named off are probably,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're heavy hitters.
It may sound overwhelming to some people if they haven't came out here and they're intimidated by it, but don't make it overwhelming. Just
If you keep it simple.
be cool, get what your confidence is in, and just come out here and try it. Because you're going to catch fish. I can guarantee that. You're going
Right.
to catch fish. It may not be walleyes. You'll catch smallmouth, big smallmouth,
Oh, yeah.
muskies. You'll catch them all, but
Yeah.
don't be overwhelmed if you've never been to Lake St. Clair before. Because
Meow meows.
Yeah. Meow meows. A lot of meow meows.
meows, tons of
Right.
them.
Yeah. You know when you got one of those on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because it feels like a big walleye in the first 5 seconds. Then all of a sudden you see a line start doing a turn like this, and it's like, yep, not a walleye.
You catch
Yeah.
big catfish out here, stay there because a big walleye are mixed in with them.
Yeah.
And I've caught fish on crankbaits all year round on Lake
Yeah.
St. Clair.
You could never fish a car on Lake St. Clair and fish year round and be successful at it. Right. You could never. I know there's a lot of guys that don't like worms and a lot of guys tried and true worms on Lake St. Clair. I like it all. So if I'm catching fish on crawlers, I'm going to stick with that until they tell me they don't want them anymore.
Well, that's good. So I guess if guys are coming out here, obviously planer board, flat lines, right?
Yeah.
I don't personally use divers out there, dipsy divers,
No.
right? We just don't have the depth.
You can use the small
Jets.
jet divers, and I've ran some spoons in that here before, but not a whole lot of success on spoons on Lake St. Clair. It's more of an eerie thing, I guess you can call it. but I've tried it with a small Big John mini discs, and it's just the spoon's just not that good on Lake St. Clair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snap weights, Dave.
Yeah, there's a lot of times put snap weights on it in Lake St. Clair just to get the weeds off the line. I can
Yeah.
put a clip on there and it stops the weeds from
Yep.
getting on your line. But I don't really run snap weights too much in Lake St. Clair. I feel like as shallow as Lake St. Clair's, I feel like there's plenty of baits that can get the depths that you want to.
Right.
Yeah, midsummer the floating weeds get to be a huge problem. So
August. The
Yeah.
month of August is like only go out if you really have to.
Yeah.
yeah, so let's take our first question here. Aaron is saying, any input about trolling up or downhill on Lake St. Clair based off north to south currents?
Always with the current.
Always with the current. No matter where you're at, always go with the current. Yeah.
Unless you got a strong wind going against the current, always have the wind in your back. But if you can get away with going with the current, always troll with the current.
Yep. Always.
But going with the current, I'll produce any troll on that lake.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of boats out there that have been going against the current, and they can tell you they slammed them, but
We're not saying it doesn't work.
right.
I
I'm
mean,
sure it works, but your baits react different going against the current, especially if all your stuff is calibrated and you use the precision trolling app. Like, you don't know if that bait is 10 foot down because you're going against the current with that many feet of line out.
Right.
So even in some of the bays, like if you're fishing Mitchell's, and I mean, there's still a current in there, but it's not. It's definitely
It's
not
not
like
as
the
strong.
middle.
It's not as strong, but always if you know where the current's at and you know how it runs, always go with the current.
Yeah, that was a good question. So I guess we talked about the trolling game. You guys do any casting? Do you guys do any?
starting to dabble with it.
Starting, right, just starting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just got a live scope this year, so this year
Well, when the weeds are real thick and heavy, I mean, you know there's fish in there, but you can't really troll it. You'll be
Right.
pulling in and out. You gotta almost cast it.
Right.
If you're good enough to read those graphs, you can pick those
Right.
fish out of those weeds. That's what all the smallmouth guys do.
yeah,
So I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot to learn there
yeah.
when it comes
I'm
to.
excited. I can't wait to get involved with that. Leave the trolling rods in the garage and just go out there and learn it the hard way.
Right. And that's the problem that we have. It's like we want to do the casting thing, but it's like we give up so quick on it because if you can't figure it out so soon, we know we got trolling stuff in the boat and we can just put boards out and relax and
Cover more
we
water.
can cover more water and
Yeah.
catch them. But it's
You're
like,
confident.
like Jeff and I have said it back at home, like we literally just got to take all the trolling stuff out of the boats and force ourselves to cast and cast only.
Yep.
Right.
I think you would open up a whole new box out there
Yeah.
if you could dabble in those weed beds and get
Yeah.
down in there,
If you can really figure it out, you can do some damage,
especially
especially
midsummer.
yeah, midsummer, mid to late, even late summer.
Yeah.
Because you won't have to deal with the floating weeds when you're trolling, you know?
Mm-hmm. You guys got any tips on what baits to cast? Anything?
I think it's all confidence thing.
Right.
You can go swim baits, rip and wraps.
Right.
You can even go drop shot, spy bait. I mean, it's almost like you're bass fishing, really.
Right. It's pretty much
Chicken and crawler,
yeah.
Jigging and crawling.
From everything that we've researched
hopper.
and read. Yeah, I mean slip
Leech.
hopper,
leech,
right?
Put a
Elite,
leash on it.
right.
Yeah.
finishers.
Inland lake.
You know, I
Right.
messed around with finishers last year out there. They
Yeah.
worked, but I didn't spend enough time doing it.
right.
What's the easiest thing we resort to? Putting the lines back out on the water, putting the planer boards out.
Right. And
Sure.
covering as much water as we
Yep.
can.
And, you know, off topic real quick, Dave knows, well, you guys all know this. We run a weekly walleye league out there on Lake St. Clair, and we pull curveballs every so often. So, like, kind of forces you out of your box to do something different. Like, we'll have a night where it's like casting only, or
Right.
live bait only, crankbaits only, or,
Right.
you know, small fish. We put all the stuff in a hat and we pull it, and then, you know, we post it to the page or whatever, and then, like, you know, everybody comes out. If they haven't fished a lake and they want to learn more about it, I mean, that's a great thing to do. It's an afterward. It's a weekly walleye league. It's kind of like a softball league or a bowling night.
Golf
You know,
league.
It's usually on
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday
Right?
night.
Usually
Yeah.
Tuesdays, weather
5:30 to
permitting.
9:30. You know, and you know, you can win a couple dollars doing it here and there. But
Right.
the people that come and they follow that, they're really good people, and they will sit there and they will tell you what they did and how they did it.
Yeah.
And there's like no secrets, and everybody's really tight knit. So, like, if you're really intimidated about coming out here, overwhelmed, you even have to come fish one of those leagues. Yeah, you can just come to the weigh-in at 9:30 where we have it, and you can just come talk and hear everybody talk. Man, we
Right.
welcome you guys with open arms. You know,
Yeah. There's never, you know, as well as we do, there's no secrets. If you catch them, you're always telling, yeah, this is how we
This is
caught
what
them.
we caught them.
This is what we
It's
did.
fun.
Right. And that's what makes it fun. And we try to be safe with it, with weather permitting, because you're trying to make it an enjoyable evening after work, you know?
And you have a Facebook page. Jeff has a Facebook page that kind of tells you when it is, and also kind of keeps you up to date with what's going on.
What's the page?
It's Lake St. Clair Weekly Walleye League, but Lake is spelled old school LAC. So that's how they used to spell Lake St. Clair back in the day here. So you can look it up on Facebook and it'll come right up. And we usually start after Madness time that way.
June last year was
June. Yeah.
Right.
And everybody's got jobs and stuff like that. So I mean we kind of just do it, we do it for fun, and we have a little championship. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Right. It's fun though. It's a fun time.
It's fun. I tell you what, man, we love this lake so much. We love this body of water. We want to bring good things to this body of water and really showcase it, show it off, man. This lake is overlooked in my opinion, and it could be one of the best fisheries in this whole state, and it just it
doesn't get the attention because it's not Erie.
Yeah.
It's not Erie or Saginaw Bay. Because everybody knows those two bodies of water. So
and we like it. We love this place.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess the last thing I got jotted down here for ideas is tips and tricks for people. I think for me, if I were to offer anything up, I would say fishing shallow, like keeping your baits shallow to the board. I've caught fish really tight to the board in the middle of summer, right?
Right.
Because sometimes you're passing over weeds and so on.
Right.
It's less of a depth game and more of a right spot game.
Yeah.
Right. So I think for me, don't be afraid when the water's warm to keep those baits up higher in the water column.
Yep. Even in the middle of the day, because they're going to come up out of those weeds chasing for bait, and if your baits are going by them at that right time, they're going to eat it. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're also pretty lazy in the summer. That
They are.
Speed makes a big difference.
Speed makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right.
So what kind of speeds you guys talking when we're talking speed?
Kind of depends on what you're using, right? If you're going crawlers and bottom bouncers, it's kind of,
Summertime
cranks.
2 mile an hour.
Yeah, over 2 miles.
Sometimes you're going over. I've gone 2.7.
I think the
Got it the
2,
entire time.
7.2 kind of seems like at the wheelhouse. Because, I don't know.
But this time of year, you can go 1.5 is a good standard speed to run until that water gets in the 60s consistently, and then you start bumping your speed up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Summertime, usually a couple guys, we go out there and we usually just run as fast as we can till the baits blow out. We find that happy medium, and then that's kind of what we run them at.
Yep.
Go faster, cover more ground. Be surprised.
Right. Yep. Pretty much from mid-June on, start bumping that speed up about every week, because that's when the weather starts to get a little more stable around here.
So any other tips you guys got to offer?
After Madness.
Yeah.
After Madness.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, if you're pulling night crawlers out there, don't be afraid to go light, really light
Yeah.
in your weight.
Right. And your weight and your inline weights that are in front of it, whether you run the keel weights or the bead chain weights.
Yep.
You can go 1/4 ounce.
You can go
You
8.
catch them. You can go 8 ounce. We've caught them on 8 ounce some days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to go light.
Right.
How long a lead you guys put on your harness leads?
This long.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what you'd say.
But even with like the inline weights, you just play with it.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere from 20 foot to 80 foot back with those.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's one game that I really suck at. Like I could tell you
Crawlers?
guys is fishing crawlers. And what happens is
I love fishing crawlers.
I constantly I'll do it, catch a couple fish, and then I know that I have more confidence in crankbaits all the time. So
Right.
I always resort back to that.
Well, crankbaits is easier.
Yeah, because you got to put it out, let it out slower.
Yeah,
You get a bite, perch takes it off. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Right.
Your hands
Yeah.
are
You got to constantly, if you don't get a fish bit, if you're fishing all crawlers, if one of those crawler boards don't go back within
10 minutes.
10, 15 minutes at the most, you better bring it in and check it, because
Worm's gone.
gobies, and especially if you're making a turn, your slow side could drop down to the bottom.
Moss.
Guess what's down there? Moss, gobies. I mean, you're pulling in your crawler and you got this much crawler left on it.
Yeah.
Speed setting is very important.
Right. You're constantly working with crawler fishing, but there's days where it can pay off big time, because sometimes those big fish don't want to hit a crankbait. They want to hit a crawler.
Yep.
And,
Low and slow.
right. These guys love it when I call, like, I got a crawler bite going. They're like, man.
I just start packing up.
Right.
See, I'm out of here.
Right.
What size blades you guys like to run?
I mean,
Like the average,
About the
someone
big-
that's
the big
getting into
one?
it.
standard number 5.
If I can
Yeah.
find, this is no lie, if I can find a size 8, Colorado deep cup, I'm running it.
And I watched it.
And I can
All
run,
brass?
if I can get a 7, nope.
Silver.
Silver, all
Yeah.
silver.
Yep, big silver. Or I
Yeah.
can get all gold. If I could bigger the Colorado, the deeper or the better.
I've seen it in action. I was like, "That nope, that's not going to work." He's like, "Watch." Within 5 minutes, that board. Whoop, I'm like, "Get out of town!"
Well, I've seen some trophy walleye come musky fishing, right? Pulling big bucktails.
Right, and those
right?
people
Like,
are pulling them fast.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and those have, I mean, they're like what,
Big tail
12s on a buck
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
bucktail.
But it's for somebody starting out, just a standard number 5 Colorado blades.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, 5 and 6s.
yeah, and don't be afraid of willow blades either, because you can go pretty fast and cover a lot of water with willow blades. But the standard number 5 Colorado blade, it's hard to beat no matter what.
Yeah.
There's so much.
But color matters in crawlers. Colored beads.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask what color because I know that's
A
held.
lot of people are very
Yeah,
secretive.
Yeah,
Right.
we're going to leave that one alone.
Right. Yeah.
But definitely, I think the cool thing about St. Clair is it's local to the Detroit area. It's easy to get out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good water. You can, even during the middle of summer when all the pleasure boaters are out, you could go fish on the Canadian
Right.
side, the dumping grounds,
Right.
and you bring your family out, you're going to be busy,
Yeah.
right? Like catching fish. So
Yeah.
that's
Once you pretty much, I'd say after Memorial Day, by mid-June, once you see those big boats starting to come north out of Grosse Pointe and St. Clair shores, just start going to the Canadian side. Right. And pick your timing when you're coming back home.
Oh yeah,
Because if you're coming back, at prime time and evening time, so are all the swimmers.
get ran over.
Right.
Yeah.
It
But I
can-
will tell you this though, those big pleasure boats out there, man, they don't spook those fish. Those
No.
fish don't get spooked like they
they'll
do
stay.
out in other areas. You could be, you fish Detroit River right now. You have a pack of 100 boats, and you got the guy that goes up the middle or up the sides or whatever, and
And one drift.
those fish are gone. And it's St. Clair, you could have Baja boats running by your outside board, and that boat will pass you, and next thing you know, your outside board's gone, smashed.
And that bait's
Yeah.
running 5 foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear Lake pleasure boaters, for some reason, it doesn't spook them up here.
Right. It's almost like they're used to it. They get used to it. They're resident fish.
And then there's a night program in the middle of the summer, right? Oh
So,
yeah, yeah.
That's a whole nother Facebook Live.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll leave that for another.
There is a night bite.
There is a
There's
night bite
out
here.
there. Yeah.
Right. It took us a while to figure it out, but there is a night bite out here.
I mean,
It's fun.
most walleye lakes, but guys just pack it up. They don't fish
Right.
in the night, right?
Right.
And it is pretty intimidating.
Right.
Well, I mean, we
Right.
got those little things called fish flies out there too.
Right. You got to steal a lot of
Those at nighttime, come to June and July.
Yeah.
But
Those
keep
are
your mouth
fun.
closed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The only thing open on your whole body is your eyes, so you can see.
Yeah. All right, let's take a few more questions here. Sean is asking how many spots are left for Madness.
I'd say around 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we covered at the beginning of the
Yep.
video.
Yep. 10.
Okay.
10 or so. I had a couple come in today. So,
Look at that.
Thad's asking, does the speed
Night
change on the
bite.
currents?
There is no night bite, not yet.
Yeah, the speed does change in the currents. Like I know if you're fishing the Delphine down to the mouth of the river,
Yeah.
it's currents insane over there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
more south you go, the heavier the current.
Yeah.
yeah,
You just got to watch your speed on your graph. Like I'm a firm believer watching the speed on the graph. I know that with the technology now, you have your speed on your remote control that you're using for your electric motor. But I don't really look at the speed on my remote control. I look at the speed on the graph because I trust that more than anything.
I look at the speed. I look how my bait's in the water.
That too.
I would see how that bait's reacting in that water before I look at the speed on my graph. Make sure I'm in the right ballpark, but you might have to bump it up a little bit, get that right action on that crankbait, or you want the right flutter on that spinner blade too, for
Right.
pulling night crawlers.
Especially when you're going with the current.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. Thad's saying I hear tons about trolling cranks out there. I just need to do it straight out of Detroit River here. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely need to do it if you've never been out
Yeah.
on St. Clair. It's
really
It's
not far away from the pack of jiggers that's always out there. You
Yeah.
control right there.
Yep.
You know?
yeah. Eric Glazer's asking, can you troll for walleye with a pleasure boat?
Only if it's a jet boat. Because that's what he has.
That's
He
fun.
fished Madness last year for his first time, and he's back again this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have. I mean, so this year you guys upped the number of boats by 20, right? Last year was 100.
Yep.
And this year's you guys are trying to get 120. So
Yeah.
I think you can do it. It definitely there's a lot of most of your guys returned from last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You see a lot of returning faces, even like the new guys. Like I was saying, like Eric, he fished first time last year, and he was signing up right away within the first few minutes. You know, he was excited for it.
yeah.
You know, if you ever want to see a jet boat set up for walleye fishing, you'll see his at Madness.
Well, wasn't the fall derby down on Erie one on a
jet boat. Right, that was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
That was on a little jet boat, like a little summertime inland lake fun jet boat.
Yeah.
Right. Hats off to those guys for doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I'll tell you, we really pride ourselves. I know myself and the Madness Committee, we really pride ourselves on the anglers. We really do all this for you guys, man. So like,
Yeah.
you know, when the buzz isn't there no more, I guess the tournament goes away. But you do a lot of, like you guys know, it's a ton of work. It's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of hard work. But I'll tell you one thing: when you come to the weigh-in, you see Grandpa or Dad and all those guys fishing with their grandkids and stuff. That makes it all better. That makes all the stress that go for get the tournament going and all that. It makes it worthwhile in my book.
Yeah.
You know, it's a ton of work that goes overlooked. And when you see that little kid smiling, or you know, you have the family that comes up to you and says, you know, me and my son or me and my grandkids, this is the only tournament we fish together and we really enjoy it. And we come off the water, you know, we get a nice bite to eat. We got a nice setup going on, a lot of raffles, and you know, we really try to bring the community into it and the families and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know I pride myself on that. I know everybody we got that set up with the committee, I mean, they really take that to heart. So we do it all for you guys. We don't profit off this thing. We give everything back to you.
100% right back to the anglers.
But we care about the anglers the most.
Yep.
And it's definitely like it's friendly to everyone, right?
Yes.
It's not like not like a pro tournament. It's not like an amateur tournament. It literally everyone can fish it, right?
You don't need a big flashy glitter boat with, you know, 100 sponsors on the side of it to fish this tournament. You can be in a 14-foot aluminum boat and go have fun. As long as you have fun, come on out.
Go have fun, make a memory. That's what I would say.
Yep.
So boundaries, that's another big thing with the tournament, right?
Yep.
You guys, the boundaries, no one's running 70 miles to get to a spot, right, to fish for the day. So what are the boundaries?
So we give you a little bit of St. Clair River in the channels. We give you a little bit of Detroit River. So it's the northern tip of Russell Island and the St. Clair River, all the way down to the Ambassador Bridge.
Yep.
And all of Lake St. Clair.
All of Lake St. Clair is open.
Yeah, so that makes it reachable for, you know, most fishing boats, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you got a 30-gallon gas tank, you can
We've seen some flat-bottom duck boats in that tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't have to go to Canada all the time to win the tournament.
No.
It's been one on the Michigan side. It's been, or one on the U.S. side, Michigan side, I guess you could say. And guys don't have to run very far to find good fish.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We definitely this was pretty cool. I wish, so when I got into fishing Lake St. Clair or trolling on Lake St. Clair, I couldn't find enough information. I couldn't, if I'd have found a little live thing like this to listen to, it definitely
it helps.
It helps, you know, get started. So I you guys know I was a salmon guy first.
Yeah.
And you know, I got into the walleye thing probably later in life, but definitely stuff like this is great. You know, we'll do it again, you know, maybe after Madness.
Yeah.
Tell people
do a recap. Recap.
What was hot, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Drama.
Right. All the drama.
There's no drama, man. It's drama free.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But definitely come out, you know, reach out to these guys, reach out to us here at the Derby. We'll gladly put you in touch with the Walleye League, which is fun, the Madness Tournament, and you know, we'll make it happen. We'll do another one of these. Any parting info for everyone?
Cutoff for Madness is May 1st, so get signed up before that. If you're him and Han, sign up.
Yep. Like Jared said, May 1st for the anglers, and we still are accepting sponsorship opportunities for the event. at least by May 1st. So if you're interested in that, send one of us a message and we'll make sure you get pointed in the right direction with all that. And I can't thank these guys enough, man. I know the hard work they've put into the Ultimate Derby.
Yeah.
I was out today with a buddy of mine, and we had fun. We're trying our butts off, man. We're just coming up a little bit short here and there, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could get on Lake St. Clair in the next 2 weeks and put one of those fish on the board.
It wouldn't surprise me, and hopefully we're the ones trying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, we got 2 hats to give away here. So let's do the first 2 people to comment Madness in the comments here.
Okay.
We'll give them to them. Does that work for you guys?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So guys, jump on, comment Madness. We'll get these hats out to you.
You guys, real quick, you guys have a Madness is a 6 fish limit. Do you have a weight you think's going to take the win at this year?
I think it's going to be right around that 27-pound range, 28-pound range. There might be a 30-pound if you get a big kicker fish in there, but I'm going to say 27, 28 pounds.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
I think you're right there, 30.
I'm going 30.
30.
30?
I'm going.
There's always a big 28, 29, 8
Right. I think the
If you get
first
4-pounders.
I think the first place boat is going to have a 30-pound bag. Yeah.
I definitely would be happy with mid-20s. Like, I would be ecstatic.
Right.
I think
we need 30. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I like his thinking. I like his thinking.
No, I'm just,
I like his
I'm
thinking.
just saying. If you make it to the mid-20s, then I would feel really happy. At that point, the pressure is different.
Right.
You're chasing a big fish at that point.
If you can get
So if we can get the mid-20 box in the boat and then
right,
Go from there.
Yeah. So
Right.
Dave and I are fishing. That's why he's disagreeing. with
that's
me.
why I like his idea, mid-20s. Right, Dave?
Yeah.
Right. But if you can get a mid-20s bag in Madness, like you did a good job.
You're in the top 10.
What was the
Probably,
payout
right.
for Madness? I can remember. What was the payout, Jeff, for your Madness?
For Madness, it's guaranteed $12,000 first place. Here, I'll give you the whole spiel here.
Yeah.
So
Some people were asking.
the Inter Madness, it's $257
Those two.
up to 3-man teams, 6 rods per boat, or 6-rod limit, and then first place guaranteed $12,000. First place, we pay down, I think 11, 12, or 13, like that. Depends on how many entries we get this year. We get more entries, then we base everything off of a certain amount of boats. If we get a couple more entries, then we'll pay down a little bit. We'll pay down a little bit lower.
Tell them about the smallest weight.
We also have a smallest weight,
We started that 2 years ago.
smallest 6 fish bag. We have a prize for that. We have a mystery fish as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things going down. I can go on and on about the tournament, man. There's a lot of cool things we have going on. We have a giveaway this year for all the captains that sign up for the tournament. They get a giveaway. We're giving away a brand new Yamaha 9.9 kicker motor, remote style kicker motor,
Wow.
with warranties and everything from Rose Marine.
Yeah.
So if you sign up for the tournament, you're in a drawing for that.
Yeah. You're automatically entered.
Automatically enter. Must be present to win for that.
Right.
So we have a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
Awesome.
We just want to
Custom crankbaits,
Custom
shirts.
crank-
You're gonna want those.
shirts,
They're
hats.
usually pretty good ones.
Yeah.
You can't usually find them again unless you
Right.
go to Jeff.
they're one
I
of
usually buy a couple
Yep.
at a time.
Yeah.
we brought a couple styles back for the fishing show last year, and they were gone. They were
Right.
gone. Hook One had them over there, and they were gone within 2 days. So yeah, they're very sought after things, man.
So we got our winners for the hats. Karen Failer, congratulations.
All right,
And Aaron Bellafiore.
there we go.
Belfiore.
There we go. I
Yeah.
know that name.
We know him.
You know,
Right. We
Okay.
know him.
Reach out to me at info@theultimatesalmonderby.com and we'll get those to you guys. We'll figure out a way to get them to you.
Okay.
So
sweet.
awesome. Well, you guys, best of luck, with the tournament and everything. And
Thank you.
Obviously we love this lake. All of us love this lake. It's awesome. A lot of people don't know about it across the state, and
Right.
we'll just keep on supporting it, and
We'll be there.
we'll
Appreciate
definitely
it.
be there with our
Yeah.
30-pound bag.
Right.
So
We
Yeah, mid-20s. Remember mid-20s.
no,
You called it already.
Yep.
Right. He put the juju on you
I
already.
didn't put any juju on.
Right.
They did. Hear that, man?
Right.
Every
That's a
time,
whole other thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
I wonder if Kirk's watching and he heard you.
every time I fished the tournament and I, pre-fished, and I thought, man, this is it. We got it in the bag.
You won the pre-fish, didn't you?
The next,
Right.
yeah,
Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Everybody wins a pre-fish
the
tournament.
next day, it was just like terrible. So
Oh, yeah.
I like to stay modest, until
That's
the
the best way to
bag's
be.
in the boat, right?
Right.
But
until you weigh in. Be modest until you weigh your bag in, because you never know what happens until you come in.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen conditions change overnight, right? Like there's been some times when it's been a bit of a struggle.
It was not last year, but the year before. Remember how rough that was?
It was rough.
Like that was
Coming back.
coming back. That was like
we had the hurricane.
Remember
Yeah,
that hurricane?
that was fun.
Oh, that was like,
Last year was the fog delay.
oh yeah,
yeah, that was fog delay in the morning,
Forgot about that.
And we've seen conditions change through the day,
right?
where you get a bite in the morning, and then in the afternoon it peters out. For some guys, it flip flops.
Yeah,
They got nothing going in the morning, and by noon, their fish just fire.
yeah,
And it's gangbusters.
yeah.
I mean, it's a funny lake,
Yeah,
but man,
especially that time of year, it could be like you said, hot fire in the middle of the day from noon to 2 o'clock, and you got to hurry up and get back in. Right?
Yeah, we won't have that problem this year.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, you guys won't take long to get in.
Shout out to Kirk. Yeah,
You guys can go fast with that mid-20s bag.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Are you trying to jinx us? Is that what?
No, you said it. I'm just reminding you.
Hey,
You said it. I'm just reminding you.
listen, I'm good.
I'll remind you again of the captain's meeting.
All right,
Okay.
no problem. All right, well, cool. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you guys.
thank
And,
you.
we appreciate everyone that jumped on, and
Thank you guys for viewing.
if you guys want to see this again, it'll be on YouTube,
Okay.
and then both the Derby channels, and so
Probably their page as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
You can share it to the Madness page.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Yep,
We'll
thank
see you
you.
later.